occupying Wall Street, he's occupying the sports world. Welcome back to PJ Sports Talk. To be on the show, call 1-866-826-1340 or 727-441-3000. Once again, here's PJ.
And we are back on PJ Sports Talk, the place to be every Saturday at noon. And I am also live with Dylan, and we will have Al Keck on the line. We have Al Keck on the line right now. Al, how are you doing today?
PJ, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very good.
Good. Are you ready for that Buccaneer game tonight?
Yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the Bucs take on the Cowboys. The Bucs trying to end a long losing streak. They could lose 8 games in a row, and they haven't done that since the late 80s. So it's a big game for the Bucs.
Wow.
Do you think the Bucs are actually going to have a chance against the Cowboys?
Well, you never know. I mean, they haven't played well in a long time, and they're certainly not showing any signs of being able to beat a team like the Cowboys. But something tells me they just may get their act together if they can cut down on the mistakes and not make the stupid penalties and actually put together some long drives. And LeGarrette Blount does his thing by pounding the football, and Josh Freeman eliminates mistakes. They could beat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Al, do you think it will make a difference if Josh Johnson starts instead of Josh Freeman?
Now, I'm a Josh Freeman guy. I think Josh Freeman hasn't had the year that a lot of people hoped that he would have. Then again, he had an incredible year last year, and there were so many high expectations and high hopes this year. But his offensive line hasn't played as well. They just have never been able to get into a real kind of rhythm. But Josh Freeman is still the future, the quarterback of this team. Josh Johnson, I think, is a very good backup, but I think it's pretty obvious that Josh Freeman is the quarterback.
Why do you think so?
Well, because of what he brings. He's so physically gifted. Look at some of the performances that he's had late in games to bring the Buccaneers back at a very young age. He has been the victim of some drop passes and some fumbles in the running game. I mean, how many times have we seen, a Buccaneer running back make a big play, or a Buccaneer wide receiver with yards after the catch make a big play and then fumble the football right there? So, all these problems that the Buccaneers have had certainly have not been all Josh Freeman's fault. But Josh obviously hasn't played as well as he has last year, but I still think, physically and with the things that he brings to this football team, I think he's the best quarterback of the bunch. And
we are talking with Al Keck. He's the ESPN Sportscaster for WTAN, a sportscaster from WTAN.
Do you think that, Josh Johnson could win a game against the Cowboys?
That's a good question. Obviously, he brings a different type of offense to the Cowboys than what Josh Freeman does. It isn't just the quarterback. It's, the entire offense. So do I think if Josh Johnson is quarterback and the Buccaneer offense is playing the way it's capable of, and LeGarrette Blount running the football the way he can, and if the wide receivers like a Mike Williams and Aurelius Ben and a Kellen Winslow at tight end can make the type of catches that they're capable of, sure, they're capable of beating the Cowboys with Josh Johnson at quarterback, but I just think they have a better chance with Josh Freeman at quarterback. And, for the Bucs to do it against the Cowboys with Josh Johnson as their quarterback, they would have to play absolutely their perfect game, and the Cowboys would really have to struggle.
And we are talking with Al Keck. And what about the Packers?
Oh, what about those Packers? Are they something else or what?
Yeah.
My goodness, I know you. I think you saw them play this year, haven't you? Haven't you seen them play in person?
Yeah, I did.
And was that the game against the Bucs?
Yep, that was the game against the Bucs.
Oh my goodness, that's a great place to see a game, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was really cold.
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold. A little bit different than Raymond James.
Yeah.
But this week, the Packers take on the Chiefs in Kansas City. Packers trying to go to 14-0. The Chiefs are 5-8. And actually, the Packers are playing their final road game of the season. So if they can get past this one, who knows what they might be able to do. Of course, they're basically playing for home field advantage right now in the playoffs. And there's so much talk about them trying to put together a perfect season. After this week, they have the Bears on Christmas Day, and then on January 1st, they've got Detroit. So both games at home. So we'll have to see what happens here. But I think the Packers are playing as well as any team we have seen in a long, long time.
Well, Al, I have a question for you. Do you think that they will put in their backups against the Lions because they have Van Dominic Sue coming back?
You know what? That's a good question. That's a very good question. Teams do it different ways. I can remember when the Colts were working on an undefeated season, they put their backups in because they felt that it was more important to win the Super Bowl than to have a perfect season. So they didn't want to have their players get hurt. It really is an interesting question, and it's something that everybody treats differently. But we'll have to see how both teams are playing going into that game, and what it really means to the Packers at that point. As far as obviously they would have any type of home field, for the playoffs all wrapped up. But it's an interesting question. And I would think that at least to start the game that the starters would play. But if they got any kind of lead, it wouldn't surprise me if the backups came in.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady is better?
Well, obviously, Tom Brady has won more Super Bowls. He's been doing it longer than Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers is on pace, as is Tom Brady, for, statistically one of the greatest seasons in NFL history. So I think Aaron Rodgers, I can't remember a quarterback playing the way right now that Aaron Rodgers is playing. I mean, he's playing at a level that's just absolutely phenomenal. But, Tom Brady's playing well. But, with the way that Aaron Rodgers is playing right now, I think Rodgers is playing better this season, but he hasn't done it as effectively, as long, obviously, as Tom Brady.
What do you think about Tim Tebow?
Yeah, that's a great question. I enjoy watching Tim Tebow in the fourth quarter. Anytime I've watched his games, early in the game as a football fan, you get a little frustrated because you're going, my gosh, they're not moving the football. This is, how can this team even be in the middle of things, with the way that they're not able to move the football? And then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, they're just close enough, and Tebow somehow, some way, is able to get his act together. And is phenomenal watching the way that he can bring his team back. So I love watching the Broncos in the fourth quarter. I love watching Tim Tebow. And I know Tim Tebow takes an awful lot of criticism. But I will say this about Tim Tebow, is that he believes in himself. He believes in what he can do. And he truly believes that if the game is on the line, he will make a play to win the football game. And you have to admire that. You really have to admire that. He's not the prettiest quarterback out there, but you don't get style points for scoring touchdowns. You don't get style points for winning games. You just win the game, and that's what he's doing extremely well right now.
And we are talking with Al Keck from WTAN. He is a sportscaster. And Al, there's never been a white Bronco so much popular since O.J. Simpson.
I'm sorry, what?
There hasn't been a white Bronco so popular since O.J. Simpson.
Well, O.J. Simpson played for the... I see what you're saying. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You got me good. You got me good. He, he has. Tim Tebow has captured the attention of football fans, of sports fans all over the country, really all over the world if they pay attention to American football. And he is a polarizing figure because he brings a lot of attention. But what you can't take away from him is the way that he's been able to perform in the fourth quarter. And as much as people say he can't do this, his style won't last that long, can't carry a team over the long haul or whatever, every week they're having to backtrack because every week he's winning.
Well, Al, in the finishing minutes of our segment, have you done the T-bowing? Be honest.
Have I done the T-bowing?
Where you put your fist up to your chin and you're like praying.
Oh, I see. Yeah. You know what? I have not done that, but I've heard about the kids in school that got in trouble, for doing that in a hallway, and I believe they got suspended for a day or they got in trouble, and it was it's become quite a phenomenon. A lot of people are paying attention to Tim Tebow these days, and for good reason.
Thanks, Al, for being on the show, and have a happy holidays, and have a great rest of the day.
It's always great talking to you. Great job, and enjoy the Bucs game tonight.
Okay, this is PJ Sports Talk, the place to be every Saturday at noon, and I'm live with Dylan, so stay tuned. If you be my bodyguard, I can be your